Empathy isn't something we're born knowing how to do. It's something we learn through our lives. And like most things we learn, it starts with survival. When we're infants, we don't understand what emotions are. We only know sensation: hunger, warmth, cold, touch. Our nervous system fires off signals and we cry. What teaches us what those signals mean is the way someone responds. When a caregiver says, "You're hungry," or "That was scary, wasn't it?" they're doing more than just soothing. They're wiring our brain to connect language, safety, and emotion. That's empathy in its earliest form. The nervous system learning that feelings can be understood and cared for. Toddlers are little emotional scientists, and also, let's be honest, tiny narcissists. They don't yet have empathy in the adult sense. When another child cries, they might look concerned for a second, then steal their toy. That's not cruelty, it's development in action. At that age, the brain is still building what psychologists call theory of mind, which is the understanding that other people have their own inner worlds separate from ours. For toddlers, everyone's emotions are part of their own movie. If mom is sad, that means something bad is happening to me. But each time they see someone comforted, each moment an adult narrates, "She's sad because she fell." That growing brain makes new connections. Neurons in the mirror system begin to fire, helping them map other people's feelings onto their own body. That's empathy version 1.0. Still messy, still egocentric, but the start of perspective. As children grow, their empathy deepens through experience. They learn that tears can mean hurt, disappointment, or even joy. They start offering comfort, handing over a stuffed animal or patting a friend's arm. Neuroscience shows that regions like the insula and anterior cingulate cortex begin linking emotion to bodily sensation, teaching kids what sadness feels like in the body. The more those experiences are met with attunement, the more they trust emotions as safe data, not dangerous noise. Children raised in emotionally responsive environments tend to develop strong empathetic awareness. But kids who grow up in chaos or neglect often have to shut empathy down to survive, because feeling too much in an unsafe environment or an unsafe home can hurt really bad. So they need to be less sensitive. So they learn numbness instead. Empathy doesn't disappear, it just goes underground until safety returns. In adolescence, empathy gets more layered. The prefrontal cortex now starts integrating emotional and logical reasoning, giving rise to moral empathy. Questions like, what's fair? What's right? What's kind? Teenagers can be infuriatingly self-centered one moment and world-savingly compassionate the next. They're testing empathy's edges, learning how much they can care before it costs them too much. Peer inclusion and exclusion play huge roles here. When they feel seen, their empathy expands. When they feel shamed, it collapses into defense. Empathy in adulthood isn't just emotional resonance. It's informed perspective. It's defined by everything we survive: grief, love, caregiving, heartbreak. The more loss we've endured, the more language we have for other people's pain. But empathy can also fatigue. In caregiving roles, therapy, or even crisis work and being on call a lot, we can absorb so much suffering that our systems overload. That's when empathy needs to turn inward, transforming into self-compassion. Because empathy without boundaries burns out, but empathy with recovery becomes wisdom. Empathy is plastic. Trauma can dull it, but healing can bring it roaring back. Every time you sit with someone's emotion instead of fixing it, you're strengthening new neural pathways. You're teaching your nervous system feeling is survivable, connection is safe. Even as adults, our brains can still grow new circuits for compassion. Studies on compassion meditation and empathy training show structural changes in the anterior cingulate and insula, physical evidence that kindness does rewire the brain. Empathy isn't a gift we're born with. It's a language the nervous system learns through relationship. From the moment someone mirrors our first cry to the day we finally learn to mirror someone else's pain. So no, toddlers aren't heartless. They're just busy building the hardware empathy will one day run on. And every repaired moment, every apology, every act of understanding adds another layer to that code. We become empathetic not because we were taught to be nice, but because someone somewhere made us feel seen when we needed it most. And once you've been seen like that, you can't help but want to see others too. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next time. Bye.